What's going on, everyone? Hopefully everyone is keeping safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. It's time for our weekly look at the Hubbub World data forecast for COVID, influenza-like illness, flu, even RSV. Taking a look at the national picture for COVID-19, you can see there are some hotspots that are appearing on the map, and the majority of these hotspots are in metropolitan areas, such as the I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. through to about the Boston area. New York City is especially big hotspot right now. Chicago's becoming one, Detroit, Atlanta, there's some places in Texas. Things are starting to heat up in California. When we take a look at flu activity is not too bad right now, but there actually is an area that's starting to become moderate for some reason down in Florida, similar to what we were seeing in Puerto Rico. So there is some moderate activity forecasted now in Florida for flu. Taking a look at RSV, RSV is expected to be low throughout the majority of the country, with one exception to Florida near the Tampa Bay area. Influenza-like illness. This is really getting concerning right now. Some areas are actually off the chart on the index. Remember, anywhere in purple or higher is 20 or greater contagious people within a 5-minute walk of your area. So you can see New York City's really high. There's some extremely high areas in Texas. There's some multiple extremely high areas in California, even Ohio, Indiana, up near Chicago, Atlanta. There's quite a few of them. So let's go state by state. And we'll start off here. Let's take a look at California first, shall we? And you can see California here around the Bay Area. The index is forecasting really high level of influenza-like illness, and down here in LA as well. So if you're in these areas, you're going to want to mask up when you're going into indoor settings, and maybe if you're in a crowded outdoor setting as well. COVID-19 in this area. It is expected to be moderate to near high in the Bay Area, as well as down here in Los Angeles. Moderate levels are expected. Not too many concerns for flu, slightly higher by LA in the Bay Area, but not terribly concerning. RSV, no concerns whatsoever. And let's go on to our next state. Let's take a look at Colorado, shall we? No concerns for RSV. Flu concerns are minimal, with exceptions to near Denver. And taking a look at influenza-like illness. Denver area, yes, influenza-like illness is high, even in the suburbs there. It's going to be anywhere from 15 to upwards of 20 people within a 5-minute walk. Taking a look at COVID-19, it is starting to approach moderate in Denver, so that's something we'll have to watch. How about Washington, D.C.? District of Columbia, it's at the highest level on this chart for COVID-19. Influenza-like illness, again, highest level. So a really risky area right now is the D.C. area. Also, let's take a look at the flu. Flu is at moderate in this area, and RSV, it's low to near moderate. We'll say probably about 3 people within a 5-minute walk of where you might live. Moving on to Florida. And as you can see here, Miami is a hotspot for COVID right now. Moderate, 5 to 10 people. Also, Tampa Bay and the Jacksonville area. Not terribly concerning for Orlando when we take a look at this. Flu, here we go. Flu is at moderate to near high levels in the area of Tampa Bay. Moderate levels down here in Miami, even up in Jacksonville and Orlando. So you want to be careful for flu in Florida. RSV, yeah, it's low to near moderate in the Tampa Bay area. The rest of the state is not doing too bad. How about influenza-like illness? Yes, influenza-like illness is extreme right now in the Tampa Bay area and the Orlando area. In fact, it's almost going off the charts in the Tampa Bay area. And look at all these moderate areas throughout the rest of the state. Moderate to near high. Jacksonville's near high. Miami's near high. So this is relatively concerning in Florida. I know you Floridians do not like to wear your mask, but I'm asking you. Keep your fellow citizens safe. Mask up. Florida, come on. You need to do this. Your virus levels are really high right now. In fact, you're one of the worst states in the country right now, aside from New York City Metro, which we will see shortly. All right, how about Illinois? Illinois is relatively concerning in the Chicago metro area for influenza-like illness. RSV, low. Flu is also low, almost low to near moderate in Chicago, though. Then we take a look at COVID-19, and the COVID-19 forecast is expected to become high in the Chicago area, almost near extreme. The rest of Illinois is not doing too bad. Couple counties could soon turn near moderate. How about Indiana? We saw Indiana look a little concerning. Up near the Great Lakes, we have some moderate areas. In Indianapolis, we do have a moderate area. But when we take a look at influenza-like illness, we have a few areas that are turning near high at this time, and moderate levels up near the Great Lakes of Lake Michigan. How about flu? Flu in Indianapolis, low to almost near moderate, and RSV is not concerning at all. Let's move on to the state of Maine. Maine, you're doing great on RSV. Low levels. Flu, relatively low as well. COVID-19 is forecasted to be low. Wouldn't surprise me if this goes a little bit higher in the forecast next week, because there'll be a surge of people that come up to Maine for the Memorial Day weekend. Let's take a look at influenza-like illness. Now that is a little concerning down here near Cumberland County and York counties, and that's approaching moderate. So because of that, I would say yes, you definitely should be masking. And you know what? You should just always be masking anywhere you go in an indoor facility. But in this area, if you're in a crowded outdoor setting, you may want to mask there as well. Let's take a look at Maryland. Maryland has some concerning stuff going on near Baltimore. Look at this. You have off the charts influenza-like illness in the Baltimore metro area, and even high surrounding that. Let's take a look at RSV. Not terribly concerning, almost near moderate in some areas. Flu, again, low, just one county almost near moderate. How about COVID-19? COVID-19 is moderate to near high in the Baltimore area, so you're going to want to pay attention to that, as that is the forecast for you. And moving on to Michigan, we did see some concerning stuff in Michigan near Detroit. COVID-19 levels are expected to be high there. How about the levels for flu? Flu is expected to be low, as is RSV. No concerns for RSV. Influenza-like illness is also expected to be high as well in the Detroit metro area. Moving on down here to New Jersey, which is just outside of New York, and we do have a lot of high areas for COVID, and one extreme area just outside of New York City area. So, and I'm really concerned about the forecast for New Jersey. I think this is actually underdone if you're down at the shore points, because there's going to be a heck of a lot of people. Matter of fact, I was looking at traffic maps earlier. There's already people headed to the Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore is a COVID hotspot from Cape May right on up to Sandy Hook this weekend. That's an area, if I were you, I wouldn't go to the crowded shore this weekend. I know it's nice. I know you want to get away, but if you're high risk, avoid going to the New Jersey Shore this weekend. Flu numbers, yes, there's some moderate to high just outside of New York City. RSV, not terribly concerning. Influenza-like illness, there's a big problem with that. The northern half from central New Jersey, from Trenton, Princeton on northward, there are a lot of counties that are extreme. In fact, it actually adds another color right near New York City, which that's probably like 30 to 40 people within a 5-minute walk. Whoa, you definitely should be masking in that area. And if you're at home, HEPA air purifiers, turn them on. South New Jersey, again, this is concerning as well. It may be slightly underdone at the shore points, because we know the shore is going to be a hotspot this weekend. All right, New York, this is a big one. All of New York City Metro and Long Island is now in extreme for influenza-like illness, and it actually goes off the charts in New York City, where you probably have 30 to 40 infected people within a 5-minute walk. How about RSV? We have some minor RSV concerns in New York City. We also have some minor flu concerns. COVID-19, yes, this is concerning. It's moderate to high on all of Long Island. It's forecasted to be high to extreme in New York City. And even up into the lower Hudson Valley, it's starting to rise. Western New York, forecast is for rising vid levels there as well. Let's take a look at Georgia. Georgia is really concerning in multiple areas for multiple things. Influenza-like illness in the northern half of the state, especially in Atlanta metro area, is really high. In fact, it's almost off the charts in Atlanta itself, with levels of 20 or even higher expected. Even by Augusta, it's expected to be high. RSV is not terribly concerning. Flu is not an issue as well, except for Atlanta. It's low to near moderate. And take a look at COVID-19. We do have some moderate to high levels expected in Atlanta metro. And we have this county here in eastern Georgia, which is expected to be high. Augusta is expected to be moderate. And we have another high county in the western portion of the state. Moving on, let's take a look at Texas, shall we? And Texas is expected to be relatively concerning in the metro areas. Rural Texas, not too bad for COVID. Let's take a look at flu. We do have some low to moderate levels of flu in the Dallas area. Here's RSV, not terribly concerning. Influenza-like illness. You have multiple areas where influenza-like illness are expected to be high, if not extreme. Look what's going on in Houston and Austin, Amarillo, Texas. There's influenza-like illness. So Texas, you should definitely be masking up, as you should be in all areas. And let's just do a couple more states. Let's go back to the Northeast real quickly. We want to take a look at Connecticut, which does carry a lot of commuters from New York City. And you can see here in Connecticut, influenza-like illness expected to be highest along the I-95 corridor. We would expect that because of the travel along I-95. RSV, not an issue. Flu, not expected to be an issue. And COVID-19, it is going to be moderate to high. You can see down here along the I-95 corridor. And then again up in Hartford. And I actually want to check one more area, and that is Massachusetts, because Boston has been concerning. Flu levels, moderate to near high in Boston itself. That's interesting. The rest of the state is fine. RSV, not terribly concerning. COVID-19, extreme levels expected in Boston. The rest of Massachusetts, look at this. You do have high levels. And Cape Cod, that's a concerning area. I see the forecast there. It's forecasted to be about a 3 to 5. But honestly, that could end up a little bit higher because of the Memorial Day weekend and influenza-like illness, as has been the case everywhere. This is expected to be highest. Look at that, extreme in Boston. Just north of Boston, concerning levels, high levels. And again, I think Cape Cod would likely be underdone because of the number of people that are going to show up for the holiday weekend. Alrighty, that does it for this week's COVID forecast. I know I didn't do every single state. I didn't get to your area. I really thank the people at Hubbub World for putting this data out. This is fantastic. I'll put a link to this down below. And if you want to check out your state, maybe some of the areas that I missed, by all means, go check it out. I think this is fantastic. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button down below. Remember, the pandemic update will be coming later on today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until I see you again next time, stay safe.